Here is Dudley Dickerson. This is my 5-year-old 16 hands Union Rags TB gelding, who I've had for a couple of weeks now, and he's probably had about a half a dozen post-track rides. And this ride was really his sort of introduction to jumping ride. And when I say jumping, I mean like nothing higher than a foot and a half or 2 feet maximum. It's mostly ground poles and then some little tiny fillers that are hopefully not too worrisome for the horses, because on this ride, really on all rides on all horses, but especially on these very first introduction to jumping rides, you really want to just build confidence and have the horses feel like, even though they don't necessarily understand the form or the technique or the language that we're speaking to them, we just want them to think that this was a fun, cool experience and that they will come back the next time happy and willing to do it. So I started this ride by just walking over a whole bunch of stuff in the ring, doing stuff off both directions, and just encouraging him to be relaxed and brave and curious about all the things. So, like if you see there, he sort of put his head down, which is how the horses get a better look at what they're going over. So, I try to ride on a pretty long rein when I'm doing these introduction to jumping rides because I want the horses to be able to slow down, put their heads down, and get a good look at whatever they're doing. I want to encourage that sort of curiosity. So, you'll notice on this whole ride that I'm riding on a pretty loopy rein, sometimes at the end of my rein, just trying to sort of stay out of their way. And I'm sure that there are people who don't want to do it that way, and that's fine. This is just the way that works for me. So he walked over that little coop. Well, he walked up to it and then sort of landed in a really cute little trot. So I just figured we were ready to go on from there because he had walked over everything with just total confidence and very straight. That's the main thing that we're working on is, or my job is to find the horse a straight approach to the jump and manage the balance and rhythm, and then the horse has to figure out what to do with their legs. When we're trotting over these poles, I feel kind of indifferent as to whether or not they just want to stay in the trot or if they want to pick up the canter on the other side. I'm not, they're not at the point where I'm trying to manage that yet. I just want them to be straight and be relaxed about it. Dudley landed in a canter the first time, and then after that, he figured out that you actually don't have to put that much effort into just trotting over a ground pole. So that was some flower boxes with some poles around it. And so he did notice, that that was like a little bit something different. So he jumped it with a little bit more oomph, which is fine to be expected. I always like to do everything twice though to make sure that he didn't scare himself by over jumping it. So then it's really a telltale of how the horse is processing things when you come back around the next time. Because if they scared themselves by making an over effort, then they might stop, they might make an over effort again, but he jumped it much more relaxed and with a reasonable amount of effort the second time. So he was progressing as one would hope. If I got to have my way and just sort of order up how these introduction to poles and little jumping rides could go, I would order it up to go like this every single time. I just love the way he was so relaxed. He was just confident within his rhythm and his balance. He took very little managing from me, especially considering that this is the first time he's ever done this or seen these things before. So he was so confident and balanced in his canter that I thought that when we changed directions to the right, he did a really nice change, keeping the right canter across the diagonal. So I thought we would just try cantering over some poles and see what happened. And sure enough, I mean, he just was just so chill about it. Like you would think he's done this before, but I assure you, he has not. I mean, just perfect. What a good boy. So my basic pattern is that I like to do everything in both directions 2 times. I feel like if it goes really good the first time, that could have just been by luck or by accident. So if you can do it right twice, then that means that you've truly got it. I always pay a little bit more attention when I'm jumping things going away from the gate, which also happens to be away from the barn. The gate can be a great incentive. So I usually try and jump things the first time going towards it because, the pull of the barn and friends has an effect, and you can use that to your advantage or to your disadvantage. So the first time I'm doing something away from the barn, I don't take it for granted that they've already done it the one direction. So cantering to those flower boxes there, obviously that wasn't the spot that I wanted to get. It was a little bit of a gappy distance, but there was no other option there in that moment. And he was a really good boy to do it, and I don't think he minded. He didn't feel insulted. But the true tell of whether or not he was worried about that distance would be this, and then he jumped the coop super cute away from the gate. That's the distance I always want. So that was really good. I had intended to come back and canter that again to try and get a better spot, but he broke to the trot and that was fine. And then he jumped it really cute, landed on his right lead. So nothing to be unhappy with there. Then went back to the coop one more time. Again, just absolutely perfect. So then we took a walk break, a well deserved walk break for a couple of minutes. And then I just wanted to jump the two things on my diagonals. And so this is the last little thing that he did. So that was definitely his biggest effort. He felt like he jumped it super cute, started to show off a little bit of his scope. He did jump it sort of to the left. We landed way left, and obviously he overjumped it. So of course I'm going to come back around to it, make sure that he didn't worry himself by putting in too much effort. And I want to make sure that I do a better job of managing keeping him straight on landing. So as I'm coming into it this time, I'm really thinking about sort of a little bit of hold with my right rein and a lot of left leg to keep him straight. And I'm thinking about trying to go right a little bit, which will really just make us be right in the center. So it was much better. And he jumped it really nicely again. And that time we were straight. So I was very pleased with that. And I just like his expression here. I mean, he just looks happy and relaxed and like he's having a good little time. So now we're coming to the oh, I asked my mom was standing really close to the jump, which I didn't think was quite safe. So my mom's moving over, so we took a circle down there at the end of the ring so my mom could get resituated. And so now we're coming to the flower box with the flowers on top. So this is the biggest thing out there that he jumped today. And so again there he made a great effort, really cute shape, jumped way left. So we're going to do that one more time, and I'm going to make sure that I hold him. I'm going to think about trying to jump right, which will just sort of get us straight into the center. I'm not unhappy about it. All we really can ask of them right now is that they make an effort, and he was super brave and he went and he jumped it cute. So it was all good. I just want to go back a second time and see if I can get him a little straighter between my legs on landing. That was so much better. Such a good boy. Couldn't be more happy with this horse. He was just a total rock star today.